Oh, good golly. Oh, okay. Oh, good. Oh, gosh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, gosh. Lord. Hi. Welcome back, everybody. Hi, it's me again. You probably don't know who I am. Okay, so hello. I am back, and, as you can clearly see, some things have changed. I'm doing another stupid video essay. I've actually got the freaking green screen now, so my videos don't look like trash, even though I've made some pretty trash videos using this already. And no, I'm not going to bother on putting on longer pants. I'm going to keep these on because I am too lazy. And if you wonder why I'm calling them longer pants, well, if you know me in real life, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, hello. So, the DC universe is definitely interesting, at least the movie universe, and, the movies are okay at best. I mean, when the DC Universe first started out, they really just started off simple with making movies of their most popular heroes, and then slowly giving them sequels over time with things like Superman and Batman. And then as time went on, it got really weird. I mean, the DCU it's always been super cohesive and understandable and tangible, and it always makes sense every choice they make, and everything goes according to plan. Please don't crucify me, Snyder fans. Anyway, so today I'm talking about the DC movie universe because I recently had a recollection of watching so many bad DC movies, and it turns out that there's a lot of them that have extra characters. Whatever that means, I'm going to explain it. Just wait. So what do I mean by an extra character? I mean a character that was either cast, shown, or mentioned in a movie that had no reason to be there. Like, they were said, shown, whatever, and then had nothing else to do with the rest of the series of movies ever again for the rest of time. Or they referenced other things and connected other universes, and then those universe connections don't really make much sense because, the DCU universes, all the DC movie universes all connect cohesively, right? Oh crap, I didn't see you there. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about today, and there's a lot of them to get through, so let's just start somewhere. Let's start somewhere with Tim Burton's Batman movies, which pretty good. Let's start off with a very, very simple one. This is one that probably a lot of people know about, but Billy D. Williams was actually cast as Harvey Dent in the first one, but he was actually never played Two-Face. He was just sort of there, and he didn't reappear in Batman Returns, and he never appeared as Two-Face. Except in the Batman '89 comic book where Billy D. Williams actually assimilated into his, his Two-Face identity. I guess you could say identities. Eventually, Billy D. Williams was replaced from Harvey Dent by Tommy Lee Jones in Batman Forever, and we all know how that went. And, that was really the only one I could find in the first Batman movie, at least. All the other characters are actually really well written, and all had very specific roles they played, and none of them were, like, too just randomly stuck in there, but he's the one that definitely just felt kind of useless. Like, he was just sort of thrown there, and then they left him, and then they never did anything with him, and then I guess they had plans to, and then they never did it. It was just very, very weird. But I guess this book here is, how Tim Burton's third Batman movie, if he was making one, was supposed to go. But in Batman Returns, we actually do have a little character. Apparently, hold on. So apparently this guy named Marlon Wayans, I hope I'm saying that right, I think that's the right guy, was cast as Robin for Batman Returns and was supposed to come back in the third Batman movie. But yeah, Marlon Wayans was cast as Robin, apparently. And I think this is him in this book too. Here, I've never seen the guy's face, so I don't know. But Tim Burton has said on record that he scrapped the character because he felt it didn't work well with the movie and the rest of the tone, and also, it makes sense. Superhero movies with too many characters, too many villains, usually never end up well. I mean, we've seen things like that with Spider-Man 3 and a lot of stuff. But yeah, he was cast as Robin, but nothing was ever really done with his character. I think they did have a costume design, but it never ever, got used. But it's very interesting to see that Tim Burton had some characters of his own that just never got to get used. Now let's move on to everyone's favorite set of Batman movies, Forever and Robin. Batman and Robin and Batman Forever. Oh boy. These films were wild. I mean, they were just downright, ridiculous. And Batman and Robin was definitely just made to be a toy commercial. I mean, I mean, look at the toys and then look at the movie. You can definitely tell that they were just trying to, like, make this movie a 1 hour long ad. But there actually are some very interesting extra characters that are mentioned, and one is actually seen, and they never got used ever again, and never were used for anything else. So, let's go into the first one, which is very surprising to me. But in Batman Forever, after, like, you know, the whole thing happens and then Robin's family dies, you see Bruce Wayne talking to him in front of Wayne Manor, yada 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 yada. He says something about the circus being halfway to Metropolis by now or something, which is interesting because he says Metropolis, and if you don't know, Metropolis is the other town full of horrible criminals, and that one is occupied by Superman, which means this could suggest a Superman does exist.
Where will you go? The circus must be halfway to Metropolis by now.
But that is pure speculation because he just said Metropolis and we haven't seen anything for Superman. That's the only thing I could find in Batman Forever. But in Batman and Robins, this furthers my suspicions of a Superman, because in this part here, just watch it. It's so dumb, but it proves it. Okay.
I want a car. Chicks dig the car.
This is why Superman works alone.
So yeah, he says Superman, this is why Superman works alone. I think that's all the proof you need. I mean, that's the proof I needed. I mean, that means there's a Superman. So apparently Superman works in the Batman Forever universe. This could have been around the time that Tim Burton was doing his Superman movie, that big Superman movie with Nicolas Cage that was supposed to connect to the Michael Keaton Batman universe that never got finished, and it was just too big, and then they had to cancel it. It got scrapped. There's a lot of info on that online, but there are some test footage of Cage in the costume, and this could be the one that they were referencing. I don't know if this was filming around the time Batman Forever came out and Batman and Robin, but it could be that they were trying to further connect the universes, or this was just a little another poke of fun at the DC universe. But it makes sense to have a Superman, I guess, and that means a Superman exists, and possibly other Justice League members in the weird Schumacher universe. So that's fun. And there's one more character in Batman and Robin. Oh boy, I did not expect this one. So in this little scene here, where you first find out who Poison Ivy is, and you see the I don't know, like, if anybody knows what I'm talking about, but there is this scene, and you do see this guy named Dr. Adrian, is it Jason? Jason Woodrue. Jason Woodrue, if you're an Alan Moore fan, he was a big character in, like, the original Swamp Thing run of books in the 80s, and he was, like, a fairly prolific villain in that, and he appears for a little bit in this movie, and he dies pretty quick, but yeah, it's Dr. Adrian Woodrue, and I definitely think the actor did a great job portraying this character. He gets the craziness of this character down, and the look definitely works. I think it definitely looks a lot like Adrian Woodrue. But apart from that, there's not much else about this character that's super interesting. He dies immediately. There could have been plans to maybe connect this with that weird Wes Craven Swamp Thing movie that came out. Probably not. But maybe they're trying to add Swamp Thing in some way, or they were just trying to stick another character in there for whatever reason. I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. But there he is. He's there. And I don't know how I caught it. I've been rewatching these movies, and then I saw that, and I'm like, wait, his name is Adrian Woodrue. I've heard that before. And then I went and grabbed Swamp Thing, and I was like, oh, there he is. So yeah, there's him. And now let's move on to the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight movies, and I promise this is one of the last few Batman things related in this video. So, The Dark Knight is one where all the characters play is a series where all the characters play very serious roles. Like, each character has their own arc built out, and each character is very important to their specific role. I mean, like, there's not a single character that doesn't provide some sort of story aspect, except if it's side characters. But there are a couple extra characters that did appear, and I think it's pretty interesting. Like in Batman Begins, Victor Zsasz is there, and I completely forgot about this. It's probably because I've watched Batman Begins the least out of the three movies. But yeah, he is in this court scene, and he appears later on as an extra character who runs around and, you know, kills a bunch of people after the dude floods it with fart gas. But, you know, yeah, it's pretty interesting to see that this guy is in here, and he's a lesser-known Batman villain, and I think he was more popularized, like, by the Arkham games and stuff, you know, where he had that more iconic look. But it's interesting to see more classic, like, Batman villains, and ones that were more popular in the 90s that nobody really knows about being portrayed in movie form. And seeing that is pretty interesting, especially because it's interesting. Like, I don't know why he's here, but, he's here. And then there's one more, and this one is such a stretch. People call this guy named. I have to look at his name again. This guy named Coleman Reese, who, like, he's this guy who hacked into the thing, and then you can see, like, he did some stuff, but he found out, like, that their Wayne Manor, Wayne Tech is possibly working with Batman or something. Whatever. So yeah, he does some stuff that seems like the Riddler, and people call him the Riddler, especially because if you say his name, Mr. Reese, it sounds like mysteries, like Enigma. I think this one is such a stretch. I don't think it's even remotely correct. It doesn't make any sense, and it just doesn't work. And I think he would have had a bigger role if it was the Riddler, even if the Zaz guy didn't have that big of a role. I mean, they called him Zaz, and he looks like Zaz, and he had a role. This guy was kind of just there, and he played somewhat of a important role, but like not to the point that a Riddler character would. And I definitely think Christopher Nolan would have saved Riddler for like a bigger villain. I would have liked to see what he would have done for the Riddler, but it probably wouldn't have been much because he only had the 3 movies made, so whatever. Yeah, so let's move away from Batman now to talk about Green Lantern. Everyone's favorite spandex-wearing freaking styrofoam green doo-doo fart. This goober is everywhere, and I really love him. He's one of my favorite DC heroes, but he's gotten the worst in terms of movies. And let's just start with Green Lantern, the movie from 2011. I remember really liking this movie as a kid, probably because when I was a child, every superhero movie was awesome to me. And, my favorite color is green. Didn't know if you could tell. But yeah, my favorite color is green, so as a child, when you see things that are green, your head just kind of starts spinning. And an entire movie filled with green dudes punching dudes in the face. That sounds like a great time, and it was for me, but this movie is undeniably bad. But Sinestro does appear for a little bit. He does play a significant role in the movie, but he is there with his pink giant head and all. But there was an end cut scene. I think this is one of the first end cut scenes in a DC movie. But if you watch all the way to the end, I don't know how this got past me. I don't know how I didn't see this as a kid. But there's an end cut scene where you see Sinestro put on a yellow ring, and he becomes the yellow version of Sinestro with his yellow suit and everything that we all know and love from the comic books. Well, I mean, I guess the old comic books had that stupid blue and black suit, but we don't talk about that. But yeah, I guess there was some sort of plan for a Green Lantern sequel in the future that involved a yellow Sinestro using the Yellow Lantern powers that ended up never coming to fruition. So it was there, and he played no other role. I mean, I guess Sinestro did. I don't know if this one counts because Sinestro did play a big role in the movie, but Yellow Sinestro didn't. He was kind of just there, and I guess they just stuck him in for funsies. But the king of sticking things in for funsies and it never going anywhere is Mr. Scott Snyder. Scott Snyder? No, Zack Snyder. This dude, oh my gosh. So yeah, we're talking about Green Lantern. There are 2 Green Lantern scenes that go nowhere in the Justice League movies, including the Joss Whedon one and the Snyder one. So in both of them, there's this big Atlantean, Amazonian, spaceman war against Darkseid's forces and crap. And, you see the Green Lanterns for a brief period. You can definitely tell that's them because it mentions them, but they also, use their powers. They have the green rings, they got the green symbols, they got everything, all the Green Lantern stuff. But they're there for, a couple seconds, and they're not super, significant. They just, oh yeah, they fought there. And that's it. They're implied to exist. And then they never show up again. And then at the very end cutscene of Zack Snyder, or the Snyder Cut, which is not the only end cutscene, there's 70. You can see a dead Green Lantern. I think he's impaled. I can't remember because I don't have the thing looked up. But yeah, there's a dead Green Lantern lying there, and he's just there. So yeah, I guess they were planning on putting Hal Jordan or Jon Stewart or, all of the fan favorite Green Lanterns all in at some point, but it never went anywhere. So yeah, those are there, and that's fun. And another character that was added that just never didn't do a thing was Martian Manhunter. He was also added at the very end cutscene, not the very end cutscene, one of the end cutscenes. And his just character arc went nowhere. He's just like, hey, I'm here, and then never again. So yeah, that was interesting. And there's a lot more extra characters in this movie. We also get a look at Deathstroke, who has a sick costume and was supposed to appear in a Batman movie that also never happened. Yeah, so there's Deathstroke for you. He was there. Joker appeared for a little bit, but I don't think I can count Joker because he actually had a more significant role on the DCU, DCEU, whatever, interconnected diarrhea. I don't know what it is. But yeah, in the whole like DCU, there are actually a lot of extra characters that we can go through, so I'm gonna just try and go through them real quick. So in Shazam, there's an end cut scene with Superman in it. It is not the Man of Steel Superman that we all know and love. It is just like a random stunt double that they got to wear the Superman costume for this brief period, which is fun. I don't think it's also an extra character because, you know, he actually had a role in the Blue Beetle movie, which is also connected somehow in this big thing. You can see Ted Kord's Blue Beetle suit as well as the old Charleston Comics Blue Beetle suit, which if you want to find out what about Ted Kord and Blue Beetle's weird comic backstory about how he got, like why there's 3 different ones, that's a different video. Here's this video by Carbon Scoring. He does a great job of explaining everything and how it's supposed to like all connect together. And he does it with using action figures also and going over the history of those. So if you want to find out about Ted Kord Blue Beetle, there he is. Basically, he's the Blue Beetle that came over before Jaime Reyes, the newest Blue Beetle. And you can see his suit as well as the Charleston Comics Blue Beetle suit, which is cool because it explains that there are 2 different new Blue Beetles that are possibly dead or alive in the same universe, which could also explain the existence of maybe a Booster Gold somehow, which is cool. We also have in Batman versus Superman, there's a Robin for some reason. Like you can see this Robin suit and it's got Joker spray paint on it for some reason, which before, you know, Suicide Squad came out, then that was, you know, oh, we have a Robin and a Joker somewhere out there. We just don't see him. But yeah, there is a Robin. I guess he's dead, and there's a costume for it, so that means there is somewhere out there a Robin in the DC cinematic doo-doo verse. I guess you can count the Birds of Prey characters because they also never appeared ever again, as well as Harley. Well, I guess not Harley Quinn. She did appear in Suicide Squad. But yeah, you can count the Birds of Prey ones because they don't ever appear ever again. They kind of were just filler characters. And I guess you can also count Batman and Suicide Squad appearing for the literal 2 seconds he was in that movie for. Another one in the more recent DCU ones is Joker in the Matt Reeves The Batman movie. He appeared for a quick second and he does have a deleted scene and they have someone casted for it, which is cool. But yeah, there was Joker and he, you know, is probably going to appear in the second one whenever that comes out. And then we have one more, which is this canceled Batgirl movie that apparently was supposed to be happening. So there was a Batgirl movie in production that was like almost done and it was scrapped last minute, which has some extra characters in it that eventually never ended up in the DCU, but were cast, had costumes, and did exist. So there's a lot of those. There was Firefly, Batgirl, and Batman. And the reason I say Batman is because it is not the Batman you think it is. But the Batman I do remember, and it was not Ben Affleck's Batman. For some reason, they casted Michael Keaton as the Batman for this movie. It was supposed to be a mainline DCU movie, I think, but for some reason they had Michael Keaton as Batman, which I'm guessing was done maybe because of the Flash movie or something. I don't know. I don't know if this was in development or production during the Flash movie or something. I'm guessing it probably was, and that's why he's here. But I guess Michael Keaton's universe is connected to this weird Batgirl universe, so that's interesting. But yeah, that's 3 that never went anywhere, except Michael Keaton's, who was in the Flash movie, but I don't think anybody cared for that. But anyway, let's talk less about the DCU and talk more about this canceled Batman movie. Which, yeah, no, I'm going back to Batman. Shut up. Yeah, there was a canceled third Schumacher film for some reason. Yeah, so there was a Batman Unchained in production by Joel Schumacher that was going to be like the best Batman movie of all time. It was going to have all the old villains coming back and all this cool stuff happening. But there were 2 new villains cast. It was, well, not cast, but like recommended for the role that are just so infamously known. One is Nicolas Cage as Scarecrow and Madonna as Harley Quinn. And I'm not joking you when I say that. That is the casting that they were trying to go for. And I think both of the roles would have worked well, except maybe Nicolas Cage. I don't know why he keeps getting cast for superhero movies like this, but he does. Well, I guess that's two characters added that also never got anywhere. I think they did add those in that Batman 89 run of comics where they've kind of been remaking the movies that never got made as comics, which is cool. But it's interesting to see that two of the big name actors were casted for pretty big roles. And I don't even think like that would have worked out that well, especially I don't think like I think Madonna at the time probably looked like Harley Quinn, maybe, but I don't think it would have worked as well as they thought it was going to. After casting Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze, they just lost their mind hiring actors. But I thought that one was interesting, and I had to go back all the way to the Schumacher crap, but you can deal with it. And then we have, oh man, I wanted to avoid talking about this movie so much, but I had to put it in because it's one of the stupidest things I've ever seen, and the fact that it connects this universe is horrible to me. So, the Catwoman movie. Oh no, the Catwoman movie. What do I have to say about this film? This movie is like taking a metal dagger and knifing myself in the balls with it, trying to watch this movie. Its premise is so stupid, and the casting wasn't bad, but the premise is dumb. Here's a quick summary of the premise. Girl doesn't like job, somehow floats to an island of magic cats. Magic cats breathe on her, she gets magic cat powers. There you go. It's not even remotely like Catwoman at all. I don't know how this movie got greenlit. I don't know how it was allowed to be made, but it is. And basically, she goes to the house of this crazy lady who apparently used to be a Catwoman also, and she spills all these pictures on the floor, has all these pictures, and in the bottom corner, with all the other pictures, you can see Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, a picture of it. So all these pictures like the previous Catwoman women who have existed, and Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman from Batman Returns is there for some reason. I caught it out of the corner of my eye first time watching this movie, and I didn't think much of it at the time, but the more I thought about it, the more angry I got at that. Because that means this garbage movie from the 2000s that just almost made me throw up with how bad the CGI was, is somehow connected to the Batman 89 Tim Burton universe. Somehow. So not only is Batman Forever and Batman and Robin connected to this movie, connected to that series somehow, but now is the Catwoman movie and the Flash movie and the Batgirl movie and the Lego Batman video games because those used Danny Elfman's music for some reason, some magic reason I will never know. I don't understand what the thought was. I guess it was just to throw in there as a little Easter egg. But it's so unbelievably ridiculous, and that's all I can think of is that it's trying to connect those, especially because it's very similar in the plot. Almost. It's just not magic cats in the other one. To finish this out, I'm going to go through all of the ones in the Flash movie. I don't think anyone cares for the Flash movie, but I'm gonna speed run all of the characters that were shown that went nowhere. There's a lot, and they're just very, very stupidly placed. Okay. Michael Keaton, George Clooney's Batman, Christopher Reeve's Superman, the other girl that played Supergirl that connected to the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, Nicolas Cage's undone Superman, just CGI'd in there, Henry Cavill's Superman, Ben Affleck's Batman, and Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman all appeared in that movie. All together, all at once. Everywhere, everything, all at once. Bagels. So, yeah. There's a lot of them. Some of them referencing previous things. Some of them just not. Oh, yeah, I guess Jason Momoa's Aquaman was in there for like 2 seconds. The directors of the DCU really like just inserting characters for like a literal 2 scene. Like, not even 2 scenes. Like, 1 scene for like not even a minute, and then just dumping the character for the rest of the movie. Like, they really, really like doing that for some reason. And it's never worked. I don't know why they keep thinking it's gonna work. Hopefully with whatever happens with Superman, the new one, they just don't do that. Like, I hope Green Lantern doesn't fly across screen for 2 minutes, just like, what's up, and then is gone for the rest of the movie. Like, he gives some useless advice to the main character and is gone for all of the rest of time, because that's what has happened with every single cameo from every other actor in the DCU and every single stupid DCU movie. That made zero sense. See, I don't understand those Snyder fans who, like, literally worship the Snyderverse stuff, because you do not realize how unconnected it was. Like, I don't care how serious it was and how much more serious it was than goofy comic book movies. I will take campy and cartoony and unrealistic over the nonsense story that was concocted by these freaks. Like, the amount of speculation, retcons, the amount of just like rewrites, cancellations, scraps, like recasts, just it boggles my mind how many there were and how just none of it made sense. And all the marketing was made to like make these movies look incredible, and then you go and see them and you're like, why did I pay money to see this? But yeah, that's basically the entire DC universe for you. Not the entire DC universe, but the movie universe. So yeah, DC movies have never really had the greatest of reputation when it came to, getting its characters right. Some were really good, some were incredible, and then some were just really, really not good at all. Not good. Just goodbye. But like, I think it's interesting, and I mean, hey, I got content out of it, so yeah. But I think it's definitely interesting to see how these characters were kind of slotted in either last minute, or like the director just knew, like, this is the last stand. I gotta cram as much as I can into this garbage pile as I can. But yeah, I think it's very interesting, and I just found it very funny. And I thought of the one character watching one movie, and then went down a rabbit hole of finding every other character that I could possibly think of to exist. So yeah. But anyways, if you did enjoy, please like and subscribe so I don't go broke, so I can get a big green screen. Yeah. So please please excuse me while I die. So please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And if you want me to do one on Marvel movies, because I think there are a couple extra characters thrown in Marvel movies that, never got used again, then I will happily do that, because, that sounds really fun. But yeah, if you did enjoy this, please let me know. If you have any other characters that might have been thrown in a DC movie, or even a show, or a video game, or, a kid's movie, like an animated movie, just let me know, and I will go over those in a part 2 if people want that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to end off my video forever. Bye!